Hey there, guys. Happy Thursday. It is the day after New Year's Evil, so that is what the majority of this video is going to be about. I do want to start by talking about the past week in WWE, and I mostly want to do that for a couple reasons. One thing that I want to bring some attention and some light on is that I noticed this past week there were some matches that were really hyped up well. They could have been good matches. Some of them were good, some of them were not so good. But there was a lot of attention directed on certain matches. But then I noticed one match in particular this past week. If you take the name value out of the equation and you just focus on the content, you would be surprised. And if you're not, you're missing some good stuff. And I'm looking at you, 205 Live. I'm looking at you, Mansoor. I'm looking at you, Jake Atlas. So if you didn't watch 205 this past week, I would highly recommend going back and checking out Mansoor vs. Jake Atlas on 205 Live from last Friday's New Year's episode. I thought it was one of the greatest matches of the week. I thought those guys did an excellent job. You don't think, no offense to them, of course, I'm just saying this because they're not two top name guys in WWE, but you don't think going in, unless you're just a huge Jake Atlas fan or a huge Mansoor fan. I am both, but these guys put on an excellent match, so I'd highly recommend going back and checking out 205 Live. So just the week in general, I thought SmackDown was okay. Nothing stellar, but a good show. UK has been on recap shows for the past couple weeks because of the holiday break. One thing noteworthy to point out to me is that I want to point out to you, I should say, for me, was UK. Like I said, they've been recapping, but the one person that just stood out to me on that show was Sam Gradwell. He starts off his segment by saying, "There's a rabbit over there, don't let it bother you." And I was instantly won over. That was, who does that? He also mentioned a giraffe later in the same segment. So I didn't get it with Sam Gradwell now, but between that and going back and looking at some stuff on his Twitter, I get it. The guy's just, he's, I don't say loopy, but he's a little out there. He's certainly eccentric. I'm getting the character now. I didn't really get it at first, but this guy, he's very entertaining. So if you want a good laugh, if you want a segment like you have never seen before, I would suggest tuning into that, at least that part of NXT UK. Sam Gradwell, overall, just did, joyous past couple episodes from UK. Even though it's been recaps, it's also been a lot of these guys in their own way wishing you happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that stuff. So just really feel-good episodes from them, so I like that. Raw was a dumpster fire. There's not too much to, I could do a whole episode on that, just hot mess. But the only good things for me, or at least noteworthy stuff, positive on Raw, was during Randy Orton's match, Samoa Joe mentioned the Spider and the Fly parlor poem, which I'm a big fan of, and I actually recently, I noticed in my memories from 6 years ago, 2015, this month, I actually made a status quoting that poem, so it's one of my favorites. Kind of sad when that's a highlight of a Monday Night Raw episode. Also, Amos kicking the guitar was enjoyable as well, but other than that, Raw was a mess. Okay, but New Year's Evil was kind of all over the place. Lot of stuff to cover there, so let's get to that. I thought the intro was really good with Dexter Lumis with the lights. That was, the build-up on that was really excitable before he hit the master switch. I thought that was a cool intro. Damian Priest versus Cross was actually a match, so that's positive. Priest looked great, but they weren't fooling anybody. Karrion Kross picked up the win. I thought the ending was a little cheesy, but I guess it's par for the course, or par for the cross, I should say. Grand Metalik versus Santos Escobar was, it was a pretty good match. The match itself, it wasn't perfect, but it was good. Metalik hit a lot of cool stuff. It was a fairly exciting match, but it just had me thinking, let's look ahead to the near future. We know Kurt Stallion is coming up in the cards for Santos Escobar, who retained in this match. My path here is to Arya Daivari, and I know that's probably just me. I'm a huge fan of the guy, and I would like at some point this guy is holding down 205, and he has been for months now. He's one of those guys where if you're not paying enough attention, he could easily slip through the radar on your radar. But I don't know. He's a guy that goes out there, gives 110%, and he's really shown that during the pandemic. With no fans and everything, it's just really come to light how much he really tries, and he's obviously an original on 205 Live, and if Kurt Stallion ends up somehow picking up the win, this could easily transition. There's already some history there with him and Arya Daivari, so that's, I'm looking a few steps ahead down the cruiserweight scene, but that's what I'm hoping for in the future. So, next was a weird one. Katrina Cortez versus Zioli. I don't get it. I don't see the point of this. The coolest thing about all of this was Zaya's entrance. The very beginning. Not the kicks and all that stuff, but just the very beginning when they came out. What's the word for it? I don't know, smoke and bells and whistles or whatever of all that was pretty cool, just when they were on the ramp like that. Enjoyed that, but you know what, there was, I mean, to go through all that and then not even have a well-known opponent, and also no real improvement from Zioli. There was no fire, no spark there, and you're going to see what I'm referring to when I talk about the next match. But with this, I don't know, after everything that she's been through, I expected her to go for blood in this match, especially against no offense to Katrina Cortez, but a non-noteworthy opponent, for this to be a New Year's Evil show. I don't know, it just seemed like a filler match. It didn't do anything for me. I didn't see anything different from Zioli that I would be excited about after all these weeks building up with these segments, and nothing there. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see how that one goes. The next match is what I'm talking about, though. When I say spark, when I say fire, Rhea and Raquel, hands down, by a million miles, match of the night. And since we are only 1 week into 2021, one of the matches of the year. Them and Mansoor and Jake Atlas. Matches of the year so far. So you already have an immediate MOTY contender there. But even if we're a few months down the road, I don't know. Rhea and Raquel, just really impressed. First of all, they came out, for this kind of a match, a last woman standing, but they came out fighting, they came out wrestling like they hate each other, which is great to see because of the storyline, because of the build-up, and I hate when people do that, and then they get in the ring, and it's a Zioli. It's nothing. There's no spark, no oomph to it, but Rhea and Raquel, they brought everything, and it's just, it just goes to show you that that's why they are in the position that they are in. That's why those two are two of the dominant females in NXT, and this match was just an overall beauty. The stuff that they put themselves through, everything, it just went perfectly, exactly how it should. My only complaint was for a half a second when Dakota showed up, and I love Dakota Kai. But I was like, no, you're not now. Like, you're not, I get it, but I'm enjoying this match just being Rhea and Raquel. I didn't want any interference, and then Rhea stuffed her in a locker, which solved that problem immediately, and it was also a funny solution to a problem. Rhea obviously had to have some idea that Dakota could get involved, and she solved that problem pretty quickly. This match was great. They did a lot of really intense stuff. So enjoyable, and Raquel got the win. Big win for her. Real happy for her. If you go back in my channel 6 months ago, I would have never imagined this. She was put on TV before she was ready. I think somewhere deep down she knew that too. She worked her butt off. She got so much better. And Raquel is shining right now. Congratulations to her and Rhea. They both put on a fantastic match. And then, after such an intense match, and this is again why card and match and segment placement is so important, you have an intense match like that, and then you follow it up with The Way coming into the arena with a police escort, and having themselves a little, enjoyable, funny moment. These guys are honestly one of my favorite factions in all of WWE right now. I know you guys know who my favorite is. There's going to be no topping Imperium, but, and then, of course, Pat McAfee's faction is also a top contender for me. But these guys, the way is, oh my God, they're shining. This is everything it should be. Everybody in there has their role. Everybody in there is perfect for this spot. It was very well thought out. And it's hilarious. And it was great to follow such an intense match that came before. So it was a really important placement on the card. This transitioned into what I believe was the match that took the spot of Thatcher versus Tommaso Ciampa in the pit fight, because the pit fight had to be postponed. Again, I'm assuming, and it is looking like, as Regal said, postponed, not canceled. Everybody who was disappointed about that match, I truly believe you will still be getting that match. It's just not going to be right now because my tummy got hurt. Little boo-boo, but he'll be fine. It doesn't seem to be a serious injury. So instead, they put on Gargano and Candice versus Shotzi and Kushida, which seemed super random, but it was also super fun. And like I said, the placement of that match was great in the show. Shotzi and Kushida picked up the win on this. It was a nice little fun match before the main, which was not a fun match, honestly. Kyle O'Reilly versus Finn Balor was not great. The outcome, Balor retained. Outcome notwithstanding, doesn't even play in a factor why this match fell so short. It did not live up to the hype. It was heavily hyped. It didn't live up to their first match. It just seemed like it cut out just as it was getting going. I expected so much more of these two. So unfortunately, after kind of an up and down card, but I mean, there was some real highlights on this show. This just wasn't one of them for me. So that show didn't end on a great note for me. The match just fell short. It didn't do anything for me. But just so this video doesn't go off on a sad note or a bad note or a negative note or anything like that. So just real quick, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video, all of that stuff. We are going on a new year, and we are also going on the second year of Jen Loves Wrestling. So I started this channel last year around this time. I don't remember the date, but it was around the first or second week of January. It was right before, I think it was like the week before an NXT live event that I was attending, which also marks a year of the last time I went to a wrestling show live, which is obviously the case for most of us, because we did not know this time last year exactly what kind of a year we were in for. I had a lot of cool stuff planned. WrestleMania weekend, followed by SummerSlam week. Obviously none of that happened, but you guys, despite the fact that I was, advertising and through no fault of my own couldn't follow through with a lot of the things I had planned for the year, you guys stuck with me anyways. And the channel, it's been doing pretty good. I mean, it's not quite where I would like it to be subscriber-wise, but last week's video got almost 100 views. I'm really, really proud of that, and, thank you guys so much. It's kind of funny because one of the videos on Jen Loves Wrestling that got the video that got by far and away the most views, it was not a wrestling-related video. It was a Shining board game-related video that I just decided to throw up because I noticed there's no content like that on YouTube. But I do still want to keep this channel. Of course, it is Jen Loves Wrestling, mostly wrestling videos, and I hope that you guys will continue to support me. And I just want to give two quick shout-outs, and shout-outs are given where they are earned. First of all, Sebastian, who has been one of my closest friends throughout this past year, and that, Sebastian, you know how much I love you. I love you. I'm giving you a hug right now. Feel hugged. My buddy. Comments on every video, watches every video. Sebastian, I appreciate you so much. Also, the holiday Christopher Mace, who thanklessly and without me asking or without me, doing honestly anything in return half the time, because, I'm just so, I tend to get caught up with a lot of other stuff going on with me. But he constantly shares my videos. He promotes my channel, and I do want to say that it doesn't go unnoticed or it doesn't go unappreciated. You've done so much for me, even back to about a year ago when I was a guest on his channel. So everybody go and support the holiday Christopher Mace, because he is a great YouTuber and an even better human being. So please support him. Thank you guys for all the love and support. this past year, and let's hope that we can do even more in 2021. The view count is going really good. I'm hoping to get that subscriber count up. I noticed last week I gained one. Before that, the week before that, I gained another one. So we're in the 60s now. It's been a slow and steady climb, but we're chugging away. So let's keep chugging away. I love you guys. Have a good night, and thank you for everything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, view, share, all that stuff. Mwah! Bye.